have a panel on Airbnb and the pitfalls of the sharing economy and any information that you want to know about illegal hotels and Airbnb. And to that, on that same note, we also have our keynote speaker, someone who's very near and dear to our hearts because she worked very closely here in the city. She ran the Office for Special Enforcement, which is responsible for enforcement of illegal hotels. And then she moved up to the Attorney General's office to run she's the chief of their Internet division, and they are responsible for the subpoena and the litigation. But that's I'm going to leave to our intro to State Senator Liz KRUEGER, who will introduce her in 1 minute. But I'm going to give you a few logistics first. All right, so you're on the second floor in the new Fordham Law School. All of the events are going to take place in either the second floor or the third floor. And I apologize but the bathrooms are on the far ends of each side. So on the second floor and the third floor, they're either all the way to the right or all the way to the left. The morning workshop is going to start at 11:15 and it will run until 12:30. You need to stay in your workshop and receive your lunch in the room in which you're having your workshop. Please don't come back down here. Stay in the room for your lunch. And there'll be sandwiches and water and snacks that will be delivered to the room. I want to thank Fordham Law School for letting us use their brand new building, which I'm sure will throw us a few logistical difficulties throughout the day as we get used to our new space. But it is a lovely building and it was really generous of them to donate this space to us. I also want to thank all of our colleagues and our partners, organizations. They're listed. There's a number of groups around the city who have donated their time to come out here today, and they're running the workshops. They're running the workshops that you'll be hosting. So there's a lot of housing professionals and just very knowledgeable folks that we have that are giving their Saturday. And I want to thank HUC staff who've done so much work on this. Putting on this event it's a pretty daunting task. And in particular, Bennett Dahmer in the mustard pants at the bottom has put a lot of work into this. And we have representatives of a number of our elected officials' offices here today, and we'll have the actual principals, the elected officials will be conducting workshops throughout the day as well. But I just want to give a roll call here on a few people that are present, whose office are present, which is State Senator Brad Hoylman, Assembly Member Gottfried, Assembly Member Linda Rosenthal, Council Member Johnson, Council Member Helen Rosenthal, who's also here and is going to say a few words in a minute. And Manhattan Borough President Gail Brewer and Congressman Gerald Nadler, all of whom have been really great in helping to plan this event and are co-sponsors. So I'm going to turn the podium. I'm going to turn the mic over to our Councilmember Helen Rosenthal, who's very graciously here this morning and also is leading a workshop, to give it a plug, on affordable housing very shortly this morning.
I'm just going to say hello and welcome you. You happen to be in my district, so welcome. And this building is amazing, so it's great to be here. I'm so pleased for you, Sarah, that you were able to make this connection so we could all be in this very comfortable, lovely space to talk about some incredibly important, serious, and difficult issues. And it'll make the day just go that much better. And lastly, I just want to I want to let you know that, as all of you know, I'm new to this, which is why I stuttered. So, but I'm incredibly proud to be on this podium with two of the greats. Liz KRUEGER, State Senator Liz KRUEGER, who's been a constant warrior in this battle to preserve affordable housing and stand up for tenants. Thank goodness for her. And Kathleen, we've never met, but I've heard about you for years. And you've sort of been working, steadfast in the mayor's office for special enforcement, and now you're here in the Attorney General's office, again, continuing to try to make the road better for tenants, but with your real expertise and knowledge. That steadfastness goes a long way, so thank you. And similarly to Sarah, it's that steadfast, constant beacon that we have that helps us sort of get through these very difficult battles. So I'm very proud to be up here with you. Thank you.
And so I'd like to introduce our next speaker, who's going to introduce our keynote speaker, which, coming all the way from the east side, is our State Senator Liz KRUEGER, who's been a tremendous advocate for tenants in the fight against illegal hotels and just for affordable housing in general. We're really pleased to welcome her this morning and show her a good West Side welcome.
Getting up here and saying, well, today I am a Berliner. In fact, for the record, while my district is majority east of 5th Avenue, from 54th to 59th, I go as far as 8th Avenue, so I feel like I am allowed to be welcome on the west side. But I am also delighted to be here because this issue is so important, and in fact, the host organizations do such tremendous work every day of the year, and nobody ever discusses what the borderlines of somebody's territory is, because of course the mission of protecting, preserving, and expanding housing that real New Yorkers can live in, can afford to live in, can be safe in, and harassment-free in, is the assignment of anyone who cares about the future of New York City. So it doesn't matter whether I represent the East Side or the West Side or Brooklyn or Bronx or Staten Island. I often say I get elected by my constituents, but my job assignment is to represent the best interests of all 19.5 million New Yorkers. And the future and security of the state of New York is actually to make sure that New York City stays a place that is strong, that grows, that it actually continues to be the economic breadbasket of the rest of the state, and has real neighborhoods and communities where we can live, we can raise our families, and we can live safely and security into our elder years. And let's face it, those elder years for a lot of us is starting to be double the number of years that we were talking about just a generation ago, which is another factor in this whole story of protecting, preserving, and expanding affordable housing. But really today, I'm here just to introduce my friend Kathleen McGee. Now, Sarah already mentioned it, and Helen did also. She's had some very technical jobs. So she's currently the bureau chief of the Internet Bureau of the New York State Attorney General, Eric Schneiderman, a West Sider. We all know him, a strong advocate for protecting housing in our neighborhoods. And I guess it wouldn't be inappropriate on a Saturday to say, and we'll all be voting for him on Tuesday. Previously, this is where I got to know Kathleen. She was the director of the Mayor's Office of Special Enforcement for the City of New York. Now, nobody, until you need them, knows what the Mayor's Office of Special Enforcement is. I didn't know what it was, and it even had a different name when we started. It was the Office of Midtown Enforcement. Now, I represented Midtown at the time, so I thought, okay, that's good to know. But it wasn't until there was literally this explosion of illegal hoteling throughout the East Side, West Side, Midtown, Upper West Side, that we discovered that you could go to this then soon Office of Special Enforcement, and you could talk to this woman, Kathleen McGee, and you could explain this outrageous activity was going on, building by building, adding up to, really early on we discovered hundreds of buildings with this activity going on. Why would I know as an elected official? Why would the groups who sponsored this event today know as housing organizations? Because you, and people just like you, were knocking on our doors, showing up in our offices, and calling and going, I've lived in my building for fill-in-the-blank years. It's an apartment building. Suddenly, there are people with luggage coming and going all times of the day and night. Shuttles from Kennedy Airport are showing up on Thursdays, dropping people off. Maybe my building had a doorman who's suddenly the concierge for some company I've never heard of, handing out keys. People are partying late into the night in my hallways. Some of the most disturbing calls that I've continued to get and to talk about with people are elderly women or women with young children living in buildings, which most of us live in. They don't have doormen, they don't have security cameras. We all know the basic New York rule. When you're going to put the lock in the front door, you look behind you to the right and the left, and you make sure nobody's going to shove in behind you. You know who's in your hallways. You know not to get into an elevator with strangers who don't seem like they fit in. You're shaking your heads. We all know this. This is standard New York 101 life. But people were coming to me and saying, total strangers have the keys to the front door. Total strangers are wandering and partying in the